Let's watch some matches where two high-serve big forehand players get matched in the Tour 7 of Tennis Clash, a sports game published by Wildlife Studios. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel Gameplay 365 and to turn on the bell if you like this video. So, my Victoria playing high-serve big forehand with a not too weak backhand has been matched versus Omer, one of the two most renowned high serves, big forehand specialist in Tennis Clash, along with Shoni. So let's be clear right from the start of this video. I didn't really want to publish this video. The reason is quite simple. All of my opponents were having lower total power. Sometimes, like here, my opponent could have a higher forehand stat, but the backhand was much weaker. So that was quite easy for me to attack on the backhand side, and that's not very fair. We were not playing on the same playing field in terms of stats. So of course, Omer or Shoni are specialists of high serve big forehand, so they will still manage to put me in a difficult position in a lot of situations, even with a weaker backhand. That means that their positioning while playing with the high serve big forehand style is very good. And well, I published this video very simply because some subs were curious to see how I play versus high serve big forehand specialists like Omer and Shoni and other players who are not so famous but who play very well. I have seen some lower stats high serve big forehand players hit very accurately and use some very good strategy. And it was very hard to beat them. So, of course, stats don't mean everything. Sometimes you can manage to win even with a lower stats. And that could have been the case here, actually. I'm pretty sure that if Omer and Shoni, those two specialists, were having the same stats on my Victoria, well, they would destroy my Victoria completely. In this video, well, I was lucky to have a stronger backhand, and that's all. Otherwise, I'm not sure that I could score more than 5 points per match against them. Well, of course, now and then, Omer and Shoni beat me too. What was funny is that Shoni beat me with Kaito the last time that we met in Tour 7. And he was hitting very, very hard with a low stats Kaito. That means that, well, his device was registering his swipe very well, which is very good for him. And Omer beat me too in some other matches, but overall, well, my Victoria managed to respond efficiently to their forehand, but I insist it's only thanks to my better stats, because I'm clearly not as skilled as them while hitting very hard the forehand. Well, I don't know on what device they play, but they clearly hit very, very hard. Much harder than me. So if you have a look at the number of coins which is shown on the pre-match screen, you will see that well, I played those matches quite a long time ago. I have always kept those matches in the hard disk, but never wanted to publish it. I repeat, it's only because too many subs are curious to see how I play versus other high serve big forehand players that I publish them. But absolutely, I have no chance. I will have no chance versus them if they were having the same stats than my Victoria. For sure, they are really very good. And I only managed to fight back because I have a better backhand. And anyway, there's no discussion possible because you can clearly see that they have very high trophies. Omer, and in the next matches You will see that Shoni too. They all have reached 3,800 trophies with a lower total power. So that means that they are much more skilled players than me, very simply. And that I'm a very average player, like I say very often in my videos. So Shoni is very often playing with the nylon string in Tour 7. Don't be surprised. It's not I don't think that is a sign that he is thinking that I'm too weak to deserve to play with Maestro Monty. It's very simply, I think that he sees that in a match between two high serve players, it's not really necessary to use the Maestro Monty, I guess. But well, by default, I use the Maestro Monty, so yeah, I think I could have used the nylon string here, because it's not Kaito stamina in front of me, of course, and because, well, rallies between two high serve big forehand players generally are not long at all, as you have seen. All the matches that you're going to see in this video are mostly lasting less than 2 minutes, except the first one versus Omer. That was pretty hard. Otherwise, well, that's pretty quick. And I was using the Maestro Monty as well because my stamina is only at 32. And while having 32 points of stamina, it's not really safe to play with a nylon string. I guess that I will try with nylon string next time that I cross a high serve big forehand player, just to see if this has any impact, real impact. But what I see is that yeah, there are a lot of returns which are hard. Shoni likes to hit very, very hard returns. It's a kind of double nothing style with him. Sometimes everything goes in and then, well, you are totally blasted. And now and then, well, they keep going out, and in that case, you are lucky to win the match a bit faster. And that's it. Yes, now and then he hits those cross-court shots, very nice ones. Not only raw force, raw power, he has a lot of control too, but, well, as I said, now and then his accuracy, well, he was not on point. Well, let's play versus Victoria having almost the same level of cards than my Victoria. It's not too far. This opponent just needs to, yeah, to be a bit more patient, and then his Victoria will have I think, a much better win ratio in Tour 7. So he's hitting hard, of course, and very accurately too. On the line winners, like on the previous point. It was hard for me to return. And of course, hitting on the backhand is a way of outflanking this Victoria, and you need to try and hit the very corner for that, because this Victoria is going to anticipate, and then you will need to hit fast towards the other side to definitely outflank this Victoria. So yeah, that's where having a 67 backhand is useful. It's not too strong, of course, but it's not too weak, so you can still manage to hit decent winners with that backhand. He was really putting my Victoria in very difficult position with his very harsh shots and sometimes very, very nice serves. I don't know if this opponent has changed his player name lately, but I haven't seen this Rinko name since weeks now in Tour 7. It's too bad because We used to have some good fights. Very good player. His high serve, two strong hands. So it's not really has a big forehand, but still, I put this match versus these two strong hands player in this video because, well, the forehand was bigger, and because there are not so many matches versus high serve big forehand players that are worth watching actually in Tour 7. Well, of course, I don't mean that I play very few high serve big forehand players. I play a lot of them, but some just have too low stats, and it's not worthy to feature those matches in this video. So the problem, as you can see, with this high serve, two equally strong hands, is that Victoria's agility is pretty low, and it's easier for me to hit aces versus her. My Victoria twin is another high serve big forehand, this time with a weaker backhand. This is a more common build already. And interestingly, she decided to play with silver and wire. So for me, it's quite risky, really. Of course, you would say that playing with nylon string could be risky too. And playing with silver and wire gives to this Victoria forehand counter, which is not too bad, of course. I'm not saying that it's useless. It is helpful, of course, to have a long catch or forehand counter like here. This Victoria was using long catch. Here, another long catch. But, you know, that's also the problem with silver and wire, is that you are going to activate long catch too often, and then when your character doesn't have enough stamina, which is clearly the case of any Victoria, unless she's using the Keto sourcing, but then Victoria is not a Victoria anymore. And, well, with a lower stamina, Victoria isn't as agile, as dangerous, especially if the match lasts long. Here, the match is not going to last very long, so you're not going to see the issue of stamina a lot. Wow, fantastic missile. Yep. Some opponents were hitting really, really hard. I dreamed to be able to see my swipe be registered correctly and give me some super hard shots like them can do on their devices. Well, only a dream for now on my Android phone. It's a high serve, big forehand, Victoria 2. As you can see, we're playing with Victoria. Nobody is using Leo. As soon as they reach a high number of trophies, they will switch to Victoria. Very simply because even if their Victoria is at level 11, at the same level than a max Leo, for instance, well, her serve could not be so devastating than Leo's serve, but her two hands are much better. Especially her forehand will be a much more dangerous weapon than Leo's forehand. But I still see some very good players use Leo in Tour 7. Some very good players like Barat. And I think, if I remember well, it's KGB Police or something like that. Was playing very well too with Leo. So some just like to hit very, very strong serves. So if they manage to hit very fast and hard serves, well, then afterwards they can keep the initiative by hitting very hard with their forehand, and then in that case, Leo's use is still possible, but otherwise, Victoria is still the best choice. Especially if you can upgrade her at least to level 12. The Victoria of Shoni, for instance, is only at level 12, and he's not having very good cards. He's playing, I think, with the Panther and the Cobra, and still he manages to destroy a lot of players. Well, I guess because otherwise I haven't seen his matches versus other players, but well, I guess that he's playing marvelously because with those lower stats than my Victoria, he's having 3,800 trophies since a very long time. So he's surely playing brilliantly versus top volley players in Tour 8. Because, well, as you can imagine, the high serve big forehand style is mostly made, almost made to counter volley in Tour 8. Versus overpowered Kaito is pretty tricky. Especially if they have 101 agility and 74 forehand, 73 backhand, or something like that, you know. There are a lot of overpowered Kaitos in Tour 8. But even versus them, I think that Omer and Shoni can manage to play very efficiently because they are awesome high serve big forehand players. That is the build that I was using for all of those matches. Well, I hope you enjoy watching my Victoria face other high serve big forehand players in the Tour 7 of Tennis Clash, a sports game published by Wider Life Studios. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel Gameplay T65 and to turn on the bell to stay tuned for new videos of Tennis Clash. Thank you a lot for your support and see you soon on Gameplay T65. Bye bye.